It's also wild to think how this, 100 years ago was essentially a computer. Have your mark, and then you essentially dial up your range of what you think for volley fire. I mean, this says 2,700. What is this, meters? Like, that might be might be a little generous, but volley fire in World War I was a thing back then. So, I mean, hell, even into World War II it was. But yeah, that's how you adjust your windage. You have all your different readings on here. It's crazy to think how, 100 years ago this was a computer. Now, that being said, it is all calibrated to whatever ammunition they were using back then, and how did that ammunition perform on what day with that humidity at that sea level and all that stuff. That's really fun to overthink, but for the most part, looks like it's not it's not seized up. I don't think there's much metal or much rust behind it, so we'll have to kind of look and see, how do we take this thing apart. I'm getting resistance when I go back that way, so I am going all the way this way. That is working a lot better. Oh, look at that. Now that is something you will not see if you don't take it apart. So, alright, so this is really hard for me to film, but trying to film the rifling, this is what you buy. Mark Novak, in his videos, he's said it multiple times, when you buy an old milsurp, what you're buying is the rifling. You're buying the bore. Everything else can be fixed later or is essentially cosmetic, because this is the one thing you cannot change. And if it is gone or if it's boogered up, it is the one factor that determines on whether or not this thing can be shot or a wall hanger, or if it theoretically needs to be chopped in half and taken out of the gene pool. So look at that rifling from 100 years ago. I mean, it's a little dirty because I've test fired this thing. Alright, so this is pretty much the thing, 80% of it taken apart, but there's little things that I kind of want to wait to handle when not everybody in the house is taking a nap. So I think I can there's like a set screw in the front there that I think if I undo that, I think I can take this off. I don't think I necessarily need to, but that's something I'll play with later. I have to see what I can do about maybe taking that out. The trigger, there's a couple pins that need to be popped, but I don't want to be hammering on stuff again while everybody's taking a nap. Other than that, like everything, other than right there, there's not really a whole lot of rust on this thing, and I think it's going to boil out really nice. But, yeah, gotta pop those pins, take that off. There is a level in which you can go too far. So, this looks like it's welded in place. So, I'm going to probably just boil that in place. I don't want to take it out because I don't want to pop any welds or nothing like that. So, firing pin, that pretty much needs to come undone. I can't remember how to take it apart. I'm gonna have to do some research on that one. but it's like this little. It's like there's a spring in there. I might pop that pin, but other one, and it's like I don't know if I really necessarily need to. Oh, the follower spring. You know, this stuff is, it's all made to be, you know, maintained. This one I'm gonna have to, you know, probably take a little bit more intensive time with. But again, a good reminder is having a camera and a phone. It's like, hey man, take pictures in and out of this stuff so you remember how it goes back together. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. Like, probably going to take this thing apart a little bit more, but I think the next step is to put all this stuff all back together. Or not together, sorry. The next step is to kind of, you know, see what I can all boil together and leave whole. One thing that I like to do is, you know, with these trays, any type of small stuff I leave in this little tray and I kind of dunk that in the water. But this smaller stuff, like these screws, I keep them, you know, in a little teacup for making tea. So any sort of stuff you don't want lost in your, you know, bin, just chuck it in there. And you're gonna need that stuff when it comes to, you know, popping that little spring and that pin out, and popping that pin and that spring, and find it, you know, you don't want to lose that stuff in your boiling trough. So that's kind of where we're at here. So yay, that's the next step. Okay, this right here is a prime example of you can go too far. There's a screw in there that has a, you know, it almost looks like a pin from that side, but it looks like a screw from that side. Now there's something, I want to say it's the ejector that's down in there that's riding on that. But the only problem is I don't know how to get it out. It's spinning freely, but it almost feels like there's like no threads. So even when I try to push on that end, nothing's happening. And when I screw it in that side, nothing's happening. So when it comes down to it, it is moving freely. I don't know how to get it out. So that is going to be something that is going to stay there because I don't want to go too far with it. So it has something to do with the ejector. So there's a prime example of one can go too far. Also for the sling, I kind of want to do the sling by itself in a whole video. But if I'm going to fire up the boiler, it's stuff like this that I would like to boil with it. So I'm going to probably have to take those off. I'll have to do some research on if this thing is missing anything, which I think it is. Like this, you know, one of these keepers. I feel like it's too loose, so I can't remember if this doesn't need to be around all 4 layers. You know, I don't know. I'll have to look that up, but otherwise, yeah, this thing's ready to go.